disgraceful attempt at character assassination time and time again from the Conservative Party of Canada. That's how low and dirty they are in regards to politics, Mr. Speaker.
As the Prime Minister holds the levers of power in this country, every decision that he makes, Madam Speaker, can and will benefit him, Liberal-connected insiders, and his corporate buddies.
Debate the honourable member for Barrie South Innisfil.
When the Prime Minister said who cares during his visit to the UAE recently about the state of trade talks with the U.S., he meant it, and here's why. No one should be naive in thinking that the Prime Minister left a trillion-dollar company making millions of dollars in both salary and deferred compensations for some virtuous reason to make $400,000 as the Prime Minister to negotiate a trade deal or save us from ourselves. Almost everything in the Budget Implementation Act is set up to use the power of the Prime Minister's office to benefit a group of well-connected Liberal insiders, lobbyists, and his corporate buddies. This was a process that started in 2020 when the Prime Minister was appointed as the economic advisor to Justin Trudeau while still acting as chair of Brookfield Asset Management. Having Trudeau in power was a dream come true for this incestuous cabal of Liberal elites. While Trudeau was playing Prime Minister, the pieces being put into place to ensure that many, if not all, of the public financial instruments, green investment funds, and policies the Prime Minister started pushing when he was pulling Trudeau's strings as his economic advisor aligned with Brookfield's strategy and success. Last week, we found out from Brookfield's chief operating officer that the Prime Minister stands to make millions in carried interest payments from his company's success related to climate and infrastructure schemes he set up. These funds could generate tens of millions of dollars in carried interest for the Prime Minister personally, depending on their performance over the next decade. But here's the problem. The Prime Minister knows what he owned before the Blind Trust was set up. Every time he makes a decision on infrastructure, energy, climate policy, or with tax incentives that are in the BIA, this will help Brookfield in areas where Brookfield is deeply invested. Questions should arise. Is this policy for Canadians or Brookfield or for him? Critics will argue that they've set up a blind trust and an ethics screen, and that's enough to ensure public confidence and trust. But Brookfield's interests from artificial intelligence, modular housing, carbon capture, nuclear, and the transition model of public risk for private return he set up while advising Trudeau will make the Prime Minister millions, and he knows it. Furthermore, the screen is administered by two political appointees by the Prime Minister. We found out last week that the Prime Minister met with Brookfield executives privately in the Prime Minister's office in October, which would cause a reasonable person to think that the screen is not being willfully applied, given the fact that the Prime Minister is not supposed to have any interaction with Brookfield, either its people or its entities. So who cares? We all should, because democracy depends on trust. If Canadians believe their leaders are making decisions to enrich their companies or themselves, confidence in our institution erodes even more than it has under these Liberals. This isn't about partisan politics, it's about accountability. Canadians deserve leaders who serve the public interest, not private portfolios. So my assessment on this budget is simple. For those who support expansive government involvement in every aspect of our economy, subsidies given to companies that would otherwise invest their own capital, Brookfield's deep involvement in policies shaped by their former chair and now Prime Minister, policies which he and the company stand to gain from, bloating debt and deficits that burden our families, seniors, and future generations, and a system that gives Liberal insiders and lobbyists unfettered access to the Treasury while Canada drifts closer and closer towards a kleptocracy.
This is a little over time. Questions and comments, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Government House Leader.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I find it disgusting and somewhat shameful that members of the Conservative parties continue to have character assassination of the Prime Minister. At the end of the day, Madam Speaker, there are even Conservative MPs that have investments in Brookfield, individuals including the Deputy Leader. As opposed to dealing with the substance of legislation and the budget, we have a disgraceful attempt at character assassination time and time again from the Conservative Party of Canada. That's how low and dirty they are in regards to politics, Madam Speaker. I would ask the member, when are they going to start focusing on Canadian interests as opposed to their own political partisanship, Madam Speaker? Shame.
The Honourable Member for Barrie Barrie South Innisfil.
Well, that got him going, didn't it? The truth hurts. Actually, everything I said is open source and based on testimony at the Ethics Committee and some of the discussion and questions that have been had in this office. The difference is the Prime Minister holds the levers of power in this country. Every decision that he makes, Madam Speaker, can and will benefit him, Liberal-connected insiders, and his corporate buddies. That's the difference. When members of the opposition hold stocks, let's say in Brookfield, they don't hold the levers of power that will enrich themselves. They do not, Madam Speaker. The truth is the truth, and what I spoke today is the truth.
Character assassination time and time again from the Conservative Party of Canada. That's how low and dirty they are in regards to politics, Mr. Speaker.